There are loads of great kitchen colour combinations, and really it's about what you love the look of most. But I can't cover everyone's favourite colours in one video. So I've picked out a few kitchen colour combinations that I've done and seen over recent years that I think work especially well. I thought we could look at some examples of each and see what makes them work, and also discuss some things to be mindful of. Kicking things off with a classic, white and oak. If you want to have that light, bright and fresh feel, but don't want an all-white kitchen for fear of it looking a little cold and clinical, then adding oak, or most wood tones, but generally some form of oak, works especially well with white or off-whites, warmer white, or maybe even some softer, warmer light greys. So I say white, but I'm going to kind of lump all of these in this one together. It can be a quintessential Scandi look, or depending on how you integrate the two, it can also be quite a timeless and classic look. Just be careful not to go too bare and clinical, perhaps not brilliant white if you're worried about this. Maybe go for a slightly off-white with a touch of warmth in its undertones. And it's also the other elements in the room, so floors, walls and countertops. Just consider these and if they can add a touch more warmth to the room rather than being too cold and stark, if that's what you're worried about with this particular pairing. I wanted to highlight this beautiful project by Solar Kitchens to demonstrate this colour combination. I'd consider this a classic Scandinavian style kitchen with its simplicity and clean lines and that kind of airy feel. And although it is light, bright and airy, it's not too stark or cold feeling. The use of texture throughout the project, not only with those oak doors, but with these slatted wooden features throughout as well. And even the concrete flooring is a matte finish rather than polished, and that goes for the countertops as well, and even the white cabinetry. Rather than a completely flat or glossy white surface, there's actually some texture to these cabinet doors. So while it is still light and bright and white essentially, the oak finishes along with all of these textural elements give it a bit more interest and depth and character. Green and walnut. It's a mix that's hard not to love and one I personally quite like. Green, with all its shades, fits perfectly with the deep, rich tones of walnut or other similar dark woods. Throw in some bronze or antique brass hardware and you've got a look I think can work especially well. This colour combination is great for creating a look that's both contemporary and classic. Just be aware that this pairing can be a bit overwhelming, especially in smaller kitchens or places lacking natural light. Unless you're going for that darker, cozy, moody feel, but if you're not, careful, it could become a bit too much. Picking the right shade of green can make all the difference. A lighter, softer green can lighten the mood, keeping things from getting too heavy. And to highlight this one, I've picked a project by Eggenstill. That lovely mix of the green and walnut just works so well in this kitchen. And although they've gone with a similar tone for the wooden floor, the use of contrast with the countertops and the walls and even the ceiling to some extent help make the room from feeling too heavy or claustrophobic. Along with some big windows down one end of the room and a lack of wall cabinets, this all helps to keep the room feeling open. And I love the metallic details in this one, that kind of aged brassy bronze for the shelving unit, as well as the taps and the shelf supports on that walnut shelf, all blend in really nicely with this look. It's a gorgeous, rich and warm kitchen with lots of little details and kind of visual interest throughout. Tonal neutrals. Opting for a palette of tonal neutrals, so think light floors, cabinets, worktops and walls, can craft a serene and harmonious kitchen space. These hues often range from soft off-whites to gentle beiges and warmer putty greys, creating a cohesive and calming atmosphere. This can achieve a timeless look that's both understated and elegant, showcasing how simplicity can be strikingly beautiful when executed with care. The subtle variation in tones, paired with contrasting textures, adds layers to the space, making it inviting and interesting. However, there's a fine line to tread. While aiming for harmony and cohesion, it's important to avoid making everything too matchy-matchy. A kitchen devoid of any tonal or textural contrasts can quickly become bland and uninteresting. The challenge with this one lies in balancing the neutral tones in such a way that each element complements the other without blending into a monotonous backdrop. For this one, I wanted to highlight a kitchen from Nordiskokk. I think this is a great example of a tonal colour palette, that warm, earthy, beigey tonal colour palette for this one, starting with the warm wooden floor, moving up to the kind of beige cabinets, onto that warm limestone countertop and then the lighter colour on the walls behind. But they can all stand nicely together with one another within this tonal warm family. And as I said, along with these just subtle changes in colour, so it's not too matchy-matchy, the use of texture is really important. So you have that here with the wooden floor as well as these lovely limestone countertops. And also having this wooden element inside the cabinets here helps to just tie the whole room together and create that sense of cohesion. This one's all about creating that kind of refined simplicity. It can be a real elegant and timeless look. Blue and white. Blue and white is a duo that has been loved for many years, and despite my occasional worry that it might feel a bit dated or put a bit of a timestamp on your kitchen, it continues to remain a very popular colour combination. I think its continued longevity is partly because of the flexibility within this palette, using various shades of blue and opting for warmer whites or kind of putty whites can refresh the classic look without straying too far from its essence, which is blue and white essentially. This colour combination brings quite a crisp, clean aesthetic to the kitchen, creating a space that can feel both vibrant and serene. A nice blue colour can add depth, contrast and a kind of weight to the room, while white brings brightness and a sense of openness. It's a classic for a reason. However, there can be a thin line between timeless and a bit of a theme. With navy and white, it's easy sometimes to unintentionally drift into a nautical theme. So to keep your kitchen from sailing into cliche territory, focus on the colour balance and material choices and avoid any thematic decorations like stripes and seashells. Unless of course that's the exact look you're going for, then knock yourself out. To highlight this one, I've picked this classic project from Harvey Jones. The classic blue and white with the wooden floors. As I said, it's a classic for a reason. However, I think this one works particularly well now and isn't as dated perhaps as some of the other kind of blue and white kitchens we've seen over recent years. I think the fact that it's a warmer, almost slightly desaturated blue, along with a off-white kind of warmer beigey greysy white on the island kind of helps lift and elevate the classic blue and white kitchen. And as well, I think the use of brass hardware on the handles and the tap help to kind of lift it and warm up the room rather than going down the stainless steel route. And I also love this playful pop of colour in the larder cabinet, not only the pink on the back wall but also the warm walnut drawers as well. Again, it all helps to create a little bit more interest and make the blue and white kitchen just something a little bit different, dark and metallic. For those aiming to give their kitchen a sense of luxury, mood and richness, blending dark colours with metallic accents is a winning formula. Think dark stained woods, ink blues, deep charcoals and lush rich greens, complemented by metallic finishes and accents, particularly bronze and aged brass. This combination creates an ambience that can be both inviting and cosy, as well as quite dramatic. You can still introduce lighter flooring or countertop hues to offset the darker elements, adding a layer of contrast that enhances the room's depth. Alternatively, embracing the dark and moody aesthetic fully can craft a space that feels enveloping and intimate, perfect for those who love a bit of drama in their decor. Again, going too dark can overwhelm a space, making it feel more like a cave than a luxurious kitchen. Unless you're 100% in love with it, maybe avoid straight black cabinets, especially those with a high gloss finish, as they can diminish the room's warmth and texture. The goal with this one is to achieve a look that's rich and sultry, not stark and sterile. And to highlight this one, I've picked this lovely kitchen from Roundhouse. They've gone for this lovely, rich, deep green on this bank of tool cabinets, as well as painting the walls the same colour up against this quite striking and gorgeous antique brass island. The dark green and that antique brass create such a kind of rich and indulgent feel. However, it doesn't feel too dark or too overwhelming thanks to those lovely big windows and door down one end, as well as the lighter coloured but still warm countertop, which is then all kind of tied together by that mid-toned wooden flooring, so it's not too stark of a contrast. And as well as the kitchen island, you've got these other metallic accents, the antique brass handles and the tap as well. It's a very rich and elegant look, but avoids feeling too dark and claustrophobic, with plenty of texture and interest throughout. So, which of these kitchen colour combinations was your favourite? Or have you got another combination that you're in love with at the moment? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked this video, I'm sure you'll enjoy these, where I'm looking at more beautiful kitchen projects to give you some more ideas and inspiration. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.